All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. And of course, thanks for subscribing. Back in New York City. If you saw the last video, I had a rough time getting into New York City and traveling. Again, the sun is at a weird angle at this particular time of day, which is also a good test. But we're testing out FSD Beta version 12.3.1, which is the same as 12.3.2.1. And we're testing it out in New York City. Wildly varied conditions, lots of pedestrians, lots of traffic, lots of odd scenarios that the system has to think on its feet on. And we're going to test it out and see what it does. Okay, so we're just going to take a quick trip downtown to see how it fares. I'll activate from the shoulder, hopefully. And we'll go. This is probably where FSD Beta can be most usable for most people who are, if you're using robo-taxi, ride shares, whatever the case may be, this is where it can be probably the most usable. A little undecisive, but then commits, which is good. But it's very challenging, very, very challenging, because the conditions are always changing in New York City, always changing. Traffic conditions at any moment can be changed at a moment's notice at any time. So it's very challenging, but we're going to see what it does. And again, our stance is Elon should set up a team here. The autopilot team should be set up here in New York City and testing this entire city over and over again, in and out, different bridges, different tunnels, all that good stuff. And that would definitely help train the entire fleet for most driving conditions in the US. Needs to make a right turn. I'm going to be keeping an eye on the proximity. Pretty close to this van in front of us. In the average profile, still not assertive. Please go wide here. Good job. So it's largely still as competent as it typically would be outside of this city, but there are some things, the sun and varying traffic conditions, the lack of lane lines, that are throwing it for a loop a little bit and giving it a little less confidence than it typically would have. They're well painted, but they're on different surfaces, so they sort of zig and zag and go up and down and become a little bit difficult. And as you start to see, if you can see now that we're in the shade, some of the lines start to blip in and out. That's the system trying to make out what that line is and what it means. Okay, there's a bus-only lane to the right. It seems to be adhering to that, which is great. That's what it did not do last time. But so far, in this trip, now that we're in the shade, it seems to be performing a little bit better, giving me a little bit more confidence here. We're not going far. It's pretty straightforward. See how pedestrians just continue to walk. They don't stop. Autopilot didn't freak out for that. The motorcycle cut in front of us, it didn't freak out for that. This is the great behavior that it needs to have. So in that regard, it is kind of ready for this environment. Where it's not ready is just the varying traffic conditions, being able to stage lanes properly and early, so that it doesn't have to wait till the last minute and get into a situation. Yellow light, aggressive slowdown, but not terrible. Good. Hopefully now you can see a better visualization of it, trying to visualize all the people here. It kind of struggles after a limit. I think it has a limit, whatever that limit is. It's hitting a lot here in New York City because there's just so many people. It can't actually visualize them all. I'm sure it sees them all and can recognize them all, but it just doesn't visualize them on the screen the way that you would expect. So far, the only thing that is giving me a little bit concern is just the speed in which it's doing certain things. It's cautious and overly cautious in certain scenarios, which is a great thing. However, the drivers around us are not, and they drive very aggressively. So sometimes if you go too slow, someone will try to go around you, and that could cause a problem for you. So just being aware of that reality, I think, would help significantly with the beta. And all these Model Ys, these are rideshare Model Ys. This is where the FSD Beta is going to come in great for them. If someone could do a whole day of ride sharing, and then the night their car can go do it themselves, or do the ride sharing, let the car do a lot of the driving, and it does do supervising for it, so it's less stressful on them doing that. So again, this is where I think the value would be significant for people doing ride shares in any city, not just New York City, but specifically New York City as we're here. Lots of big potholes, lots of people coming out. Does a good job getting around these guys, taking care of this, of the people around it. Guy jumps out there, slows down. Good job resuming speed. Yellow light, doesn't take it, the cab does. Great job. Great job. Does a really, really great job of the things that it does well, the core things: slowing down, speeding back up, adhering to pedestrians, maneuvering around pedestrians, maneuvering around obstacles. All that stuff it does really great. Turns it does really great right now, minus the proximity issues that it has. But again, decisiveness, it needs to be more decisive. It does commit once it decides, but it does give you cause to think about, hey, what is it doing? Why is it doing that? Is it going to cause a problem? Okay, so a couple of blocks we have to make a left, so we should be able to stage that left appropriately. These cabs are awfully tight, as you see here, very close. So see how methodical it's going right now, giving room for this guy to go. That's great. Now it has to speed up, and it's doing that, so that's good. Nice. Good job avoiding the pylons there and the pedestrians. Keeping a good distance here. Nice in the lane, but biasing towards the right of the lane because of all the pedestrians and all the stuff that's there. You got a REFERRAL rideshare vehicle there that could benefit from FSD Beta. Playing nice with this bus so far. Car sticking out a little bit. Kind of close. Kind of close. You saw the red there. This bus is kind of close too. So close quarters. This is where the true test comes in. Police officer walking up. Good job anticipating and watching out for the car in the next lane as it had to go over the line. Lots of call outs here. Lots of situations happening here. Car parked out a little bit and is backing up. What's it going to do? Please don't keep going. Kind of close. Bus is veering this way. Slows down in anticipation of it. Keeps a good distance. Now we're in a turn only lane. What's it going to do? Cab is coming. Can it get over? Can it get over? Can it signal? It's not signaling. All right, didn't signal. Not great. Let me flag that one. Needs to signal. But at least it give it enough space and time in the window to get over for the right lane change. But again, my theory is just that the car has the data, right? It has the data. And what do I mean by that? I mean that if I was to turn this map, I got to hold on to the wheel when I do this so it doesn't, flag me. But if I was to turn this map this way, turn on the actual data, I can see on the map that this was a turn-only lane well before I got there. So that data should be available to the car so that the car knows, hey, whether it's the traffic data or the map data, that, hey, there's a turn-only lane here. I should be in this lane, stage it appropriately. So that's my biggest gripe, and I'm not sure how they can do it or why, or if they cannot do it, why they can't. But I think that would benefit the Beta a lot, just so you avoid these short deadline lane changes. You can stage the lane properly because you know what's coming up. Just like a person who knows that this lane is not going to go straight indefinitely, I can make a decision and get in the right lane at the right time. Okay, left turn is coming up. See how these cars stick over the edge? It does a great job of adhering to those and recognizing, which is great. Now I'm gonna have to make a left turn here. Let's see what happens. Cannot make a left turn here. Detour. What is it gonna do? Cannot make the left. All right, can't make the left. Sorry about that. All right. Autopilot could not make left turn due to construction detour. Was still trying to go left. Let's go for a detour here. Let's see what happens. Okay, going. Doesn't know what it wants to do, but it commits. Commit. Stay. Then make the left. Follow the bus. Follow the bus. Got to give it a little bit of coaching sometimes. So those situations like that, like I said, just on the fly, sporadic, hey, this street is blocked off, what should I do? It had a chance and it had a window, and these guys are just going for it. Come on. Go. Good job. It had a window of which it could have made the decision to just go straight because it recognized that the construction was blocking off that street. It still decided to turn that way, so that wasn't great. And again, I think that's where it needs to react a little better. Now, there's no map data to tell you that. And there's Waze data probably, but no map data. Come on, get around this bus. He's pulling over. We're going. So that's okay. I'm okay with that one because it was a in-the-moment type of reaction. But the in-the-moment reaction should have said, hey, it's blocked off. Let me go straight and recalculate. The same way that it recalculates other ways where it misses or bypasses the navigation data. Stop and go. Thought about slowing down for the pedestrian, did not, which is great. Now it needs to be in this lane. Get there now, and turn signal. Good. It's kind of funny. It kind of drives so much like people that, gotta watch this curve. Drives so much like a person, it probably just seems like any other person driving out here if someone saw us from behind. With all the indecisiveness, that's how people drive, especially when they're new to New York. They don't know where to go, they don't know how to go. They drive like that, so that's pretty funny. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with its composure in these conditions. Again, this isn't like a weekday and this cab is drifting. This isn't a weekday, this is a weekend, but there's still traffic. There's always traffic in the city. So even with this moderate traffic, I think this is pretty impressive. Again, no one else is doing this to this extent with this many vehicles on the road, gathering that much data. So this is really great. It has to be perfect for it to be fully adopted across the board. And it definitely needs to be perfect for us in order for us to have kids, the family, and things like that inside here. I think the wife is ready for it. We'll do the wife next. But I don't know about the kids just yet. I think it's still a little bit unpredictable in certain areas. I need to be fully predictable all the time. And I need to know how it's going to handle a situation before it does so that I feel comfortable if it needs to do something sporadically. Now, we have to be, this is a turn lane only. We are not in the correct lane, and this is exactly what I mean. So we need to go straight. Navigation says go straight. The lane markings on the turn here say this is a straight lane, but this is a turn only lane. This is a turn only lane, so not too thrilled about that. And there's a bus lane further on down there, so I don't know how it has to get over to the left somehow. And let's see if it adheres. This is going to be the true test for if it knows what a bus lane is and that it should not be in the bus lane. Good job holding on for this guy. Maybe it can use the advantage to go. Let's see what happens here. Turn signal of any sort. Biker. All right, it's in the bus only lane. Oh, not good. I'm going to flag this if I can get the button with all the potholes. Can't get it. Can't get, there we go. It's in the bus only lane. It should not be in this lane. I'm going to force a lane change when I can because we can get a ticket here. Hope I don't get a ticket. And if I do get a ticket, hopefully somebody can bail us out for once. Good job getting over, crossing the solid line with the biker in tow. A little too close to the biker. I'm sure it could evade it, but it's a little bit too close for my taste. Disengage. too close in proximity to moving biker. I'm squeezing here myself. I'll resume here and go. Again, bikers are probably some of the most unpredictable elements of city driving here in New York City. They come from every direction, any direction. You saw the last trip, someone was driving down a one-way street in the middle of the road on a bike. So it's just unpredictable. So I'm not too upset about that. Normal biking on suburban, urban environments, any other environment where the bikers go to their lanes, or if they're a little bit off, it does a great job adhering to them. This guy was right in the lane. I think the car thought it had a little window to pass, and it does try to get close to things. So I just didn't want to risk it just because it's a person. But it should definitely give a little bit more caution, exercise a little bit more caution in those scenarios. Got to give a little bit of accelerator here because it was trying to stop. But now we're off. It tries to avoid that debris. Autopilot veered trying to avoid debris. Not the right thing to do. A little bit of situation there where it kind of tried to avoid the debris. No one was there, but it shouldn't just veer off. Now this person, he doesn't recognize this person is trying to drive, trying to park. Can make the turn. Let's see. All right, I'll flag that last one if I can get it. Here we go. There we go. All right, so rocky run here. Not the smoothest, but again, I'm not expecting it to be the smoothest in New York City. Anywhere else, I think it's going to be very smooth, very usable. In New York City, it's still a long way to go with New York City traffic conditions, the roads, everything. It's just a lot to account for. But again, I think you start here and then you address everybody else versus building up to getting here. San Francisco is nice. It's a congested city. It's a good use case, but it's well painted lines. There's hills. There's sort of predictable traffic conditions. This is just a whole nother beast, and I think this is where they need to focus their attention. Good job keeping the intersection clear just in case the light changes. Slowly creeping up. And then we'll be slows down for the person. I'm going to let it do its. I'm going to move up a little bit so I don't block this intersection here for this Model Y behind us. Tight quarters, and then we have to basically make a right. There's a lot of traffic right there, so I will actually end the video here. I'm not going to go ahead and go down the street. I'll just head back after this. But let me know what you thought about the drive. For me personally, if I had to give this a score, I'm going to say in terms of comfort, I'm going to give it a 7. In terms of confidence, I'm also going to give it a 7. In terms of decision making, I'm going to give it a 6. It made the right decisions all the time. However, it did make some wrong decisions at the wrong times, like trying to swerve around that car, not recognizing that the car was backing up. Here comes a biker. All right. Things like that. In terms of safety, I'm going to give it a 6. I felt mostly safe. But again, when it makes those abrupt maneuvers in aggressive traffic in these situations, closer to the biker than it needed to be, the bicyclist, I should say, not a great thing, not a great feeling in the car. So probably mid scores all around, not high scores just because of where it is. I think it's just not ready for this just yet. It's getting much, much better than it was before. Look at this. Look at this. Come on, guy. You got to be a little bit more aggressive here if you want to drive or let the person go, one of the two. I'm actually going to stop here. So yeah, that's my score. So again, 7, 7, 6, and another 6. Just because I think that It's a lot of work that needs to be done here for me to feel as comfortable and confident as I do outside of here. Outside of here, I think it's phenomenal. I think all the accolades that it gets are there. 9s and across the board, 9 and 8s across the board, all that good stuff. But right now, just driving in the city, I think we have to have a little bit of a higher measuring stick just based on what's here, the risk that's here in terms of all the people, pedestrians, cars, and your car itself. So I think I'm a little bit more stringent in that regard. So 7.7, 6.6 here for this one. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know how you thought the car did. Let me know if you could see everything. Some people are saying you can't see the screen. I think you can see the screen. Would love for Tesla to be able to allow you to duplicate the screen onto the touch screen. But that's another feature request that they can try to address. But until the next time, enjoy your day, enjoy your Tesla.